In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys 6 local SEO tips, and I am joined with Julian Goldie.
Hello there.
So what I'm thinking is, format-wise, we'll do 3 SEO tips. We'll do like a revolving door. I'll do one, you do one, and then it'll come back to me. So tip number 1, I want to focus on Google My Business because I think that that's pretty important, especially when you're trying to get more sales calls and stuff.
Hi everyone, I'm Kaz Dash, an SEO expert with over a decade of experience in transforming online businesses. I've helped hundreds of companies rank number 1 on Google, driving millions in revenue. I've worked with startups and Fortune 500 companies alike, crafting customized strategies that deliver tangible results. Plus, I've shared my insights on stage at various conferences, guiding thousands on the power of SEO. If you're looking to understand the real value of SEO and how it can skyrocket your business, you're in the right place. If you're looking to grow your organic SEO, make certain to check out the Traffic Accelerator system. The link is in the description. It is completely free. You will get a complete audit for your website, and you can essentially see where you are lacking and where you should be focusing your time and efforts on as well. Now let's dive in.
So if I search, let's say, law firms in Manchester, and if we take a look here, obviously you want to be trying to get as many reviews as you possibly can. The best way that I would recommend you guys to get reviews is if you are an established business already, sending out like an email template to all of the clients that you have previously worked with. That's a brilliant way of getting reviews. But let's say you are a tanning salon, let's say. You can incentivize people when they come in to your actual local business to get 5% off or 10% off by leaving a review for your GMB. Like a few months ago when I was in Bali, every single ice cream shop would give you a free scoop of ice cream if you left them a review, which I thought was pretty decent. So I got like a load of free scoops and left a load of left a load of reviews as well. So there's all these different ways that you can garner more reviews. You just need to think a little bit outside of the box. Typically at our agency, if it is a well-established business, protocol number 1 is just sending out the email to people that you have worked with, because they'll usually, if you have provided a good service, they will leave you a review. So that's tip number 1, to get them more of the reviews. Tip number 2 is filling out all of the services and also making certain that you actually have this as a service page listed on your website. Not many people do that, or not many people have a actual physical page on their website. It'll be interesting to see if these guys actually do have that on their site. So if we go to family law, family law, and they don't actually have that as a service. So child support litigation, I would build an individual service page on my website talking about that as a service. And obviously when people search child support litigation in Manchester, you then have a higher opportunity of your GMB showing up for that as well. So that is tip number, or well, still part of tip number 2, but again, part of ranking GMBs, super important. And then also making certain that you are frequently keeping the updates section and then linking back through to your website, which it looks like these guys are doing, to be fair. So whenever you are blogging, for example, writing an informative piece, you can publish a little snippet on your update section and then linking it back to your blog, and then also photos as well. So if you can upload photos of inside of your law firm or inside of your property, outside of your property, that again is another big ranking factor when it comes to GMBs. So Julian, what is your tip?
So one of the things that we've found is, like, when we're ranking local SEO sites, we typically didn't really need to rely on citations. And like, when I was first getting into local SEO, all the videos and all the tutorials and all the information I could find was like, you need citations, citations, citations. I was like, I don't really know how to do that. I don't want to set up a whole new system. So instead, I'm going to test just building link inserts to it. And actually that worked really well. Like, never built a citation ever. Got a lot of local SEO sites and works beautifully.
Right. Okay. That's interesting. Why do you think that is that's the case?
Well, I think it's just like any type of authority to the site helps,
Mhm.
right? So like if you're building backlinks, whether it's a local site, whether it's a niche site, e-commerce, etc., funneling that authority to the site helps it rank and make it easier to rank. So,
Right. That's interesting.
yeah.
So one other thing, and this might sound, or the next tip, should I say, this might sound like a very easy tip, but the amount of people that I see get this wrong is their NAP listing. So, if, say, for example, we were going to rank for estate agents Manchester, and if we have got these guys, what is super important is making certain that your name, address, and phone number is actually listed somewhere prominent. So, for example, I don't actually think these guys have it. This is that was where their business is registered. But let's take a look at these guys. Caton's estate agents in Manchester. Yeah, so these guys actually do have it. 365 Chapel Street, Salford, Manchester. But when you're doing any form of citation building, when you're trying to rank your GMB, making certain that you actually have this listed in like your footer or let's say your header, somewhere that's prominent, that's actually going on every single page across your website, is super important. The reason for that is, let's say you're uploading 10 articles a month. There's obviously going to be, at the end of year number 1, you do 120 articles. There's going to be a lot of different pages just on your website that is actually mentioning your address, so it becomes more of an entity. And when Google essentially starts crawling all of your citations and stuff, it can link your address back to your website. So making certain that that's really important. And one other thing as well is, this is another thing that people get wrong. They will mention Caton's estate agents, and sometimes the estate agents might have a space, sometimes it might not, sometimes it might be Caton Estate Agents Limited or LTD, making certain that it is very fluent across all of your citations, across every single web page that you've actually mentioned it on, and also your GMB as well. That's super important. So just making certain that your name, address, and your phone number is the same. And if you ever do decide to change your phone number, making certain that you actually keep it updated as well is super important as well, and not just on your website but on also directory sites as well. Tip number 2, Julian.
One of the other things I found was like, even if you sell something remotely online, you can still, get a lot of traffic from local SEO, and there's a lot of opportunities. And one of the things that I found, for example, like for our agency, is that you can rank locally anywhere in the world where your potential target market is. It's much easier than ranking for the main keyword in your industry that everyone else is going for. And because you're targeting that local area, there's so much less competition, it's so much faster to rank, and it's a good way of getting traffic even if you're a remote business. So like if you're running an agency, if you're selling any type of service and you can sell it remotely, let's say, I don't know, you're a doctor selling consultations online, then you can rank locally in many different areas around the world organically. You don't even need to rely on GMBs and get that traffic, and it's a good opportunity that's underrated right now.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of law firms, especially after COVID, they actually do their onboarding call online, so they don't even meet with you. And also for some services that lawyers do provide, they actually don't meet with you in person at all. They will essentially just say like, hey, you can just you can just book in for a call. Here's my Calendly link, and we can get things rolling. So you don't actually physically need to be in that certain area or that certain place, for example. So that is good to see. Would you see that you've seen that happen more so after COVID, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone just warmed up to the idea of doing Zoom meetings, and basically, so many more people installed and started using Zoom, which made it easier to have remote meetings. I think if I look at my agency, it really took off during that time period because nobody was like networking offline, and so everyone was booking online, and then all the traffic just goes to the sources you have online.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then, tip number 3 for me, or tip number 5, should I say, is, and I know you've kind of went against the other way, is actually doing citations, but making certain that like the citations that you are getting, you are using unique content. Because what I see a lot of is people they'll get like a citation blast, let's say, and it might be like 50 or 100 or 1,000 citations, and it's using the exact same description for their business. So I'll try to actually find an example of this that we can show you guys. But that is probably one of the most important parts when it comes to ranking citations. So if I share my screen now, and if we go over to screen number 1, so this is just a base standard citation site, but what I see a lot of is this exact snippet on 50 or 60 of their citations. What you should be doing is using unique content for every single citation that you get. And the reason for that is because you've got a higher chance of getting this listing or this page actually indexed. So what will be interesting is if this page is, so Hunters Group Estate Agents, this is actually indexed, so it's a good thing. But a few things to bear in mind when you are doing any form of directory submitting or citations and stuff is making certain that this is actually unique. If you do have any videos, that does help the index rate of some of these pages, adding in FAQs and so on and so forth. So these guys actually look like they have went to town. So they've got like company history, mission statement, target audience, business hours, where they're geographically covering, 10 things that people like the most about them. So that's really good to see. And they've got some testimonials, the services they provide, etc. And they obviously do have the video and stuff. So that is super important. Now, if all else fails and you've done all of this and you're still not indexed, bearing in mind it can take a couple days to index, you can obviously run this page through an indexing tool as well. That's one thing that we actually do at the agency. And it obviously does help process the page and essentially index the page a lot quicker as well. So just bear that in mind. If all else fails, you can run these pages through indexing tools. So last tip, Julian, what's yours?
I would say, another opportunity to rank and dominate your area, right? Let's say you're a marketing agency in Manchester, something like that. Is like look for directories on the page that are already ranking, because it's much faster to just buy a directory spot on that listing, on that particular page, than it is to set up a whole new website or set up a whole new system or hire a team for SEO. And sometimes like that's a bit of a shortcut, because if that page is ranking and already getting traffic, you can just buy a listing on it. Let's say it's like Thrive or Clutch or someone like that. There's all these different directories, no matter what industry you're in. If you see them ranking ahead of you, whilst you're waiting to rank, try and buy a spot on there and see whether that brings in leads. It's worth testing.
Yeah, that's one thing that we have done as well in the past.
Yeah, and then you can rank 2 or 3 times, not just once.
Yeah, it's like, for example, in the UK and also in the US with Yelp, but in the UK more so with Yell, it ranks very well, Yell. So what we tend to do with client sites as well, if it's a brand new website or if it's not got that much domain authority, Yell in the UK is a free listing, so you can actually get listed for free. Now, you can obviously boost it and stuff like that, but I typically don't recommend boosting it. But you can get a free listing within 24 hours, and very quickly you will be listed for that specific keyword. So, for example, accountants in Manchester or lawyers in Manchester, you're actually getting listed on that page that's ranking, and it's linking back through to your website. So that is another added bonus. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I mean, I think there's some things that people probably have to be quite wary of, right? So, for example, one client came to me and they were like, listen, one of our competitors is 10xing right here in their local area. And basically what they were doing was like buying fake reviews or buying fake listings on GMBs and trying to rank that way. And it's like, don't do that. Because you can get in serious trouble for that, and it's just not worth the risk.
Yeah, definitely. Like the thing is with fake reviews and stuff, because we've had it as well, where clients have come to us and they're like, yeah, our GMB, we've got 1,000 reviews and we've bought some of them and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, that's not like a future-proof SEO strategy by any means, because typically what happened in that scenario is they were ranking, or they weren't ranking, but they were ranking, let's say, position 7 or something. So it was okay. And then a couple months later, like, a load of their reviews ended up getting deleted, and they were like, well, what's going on? I've said, well, this is a proactive thing. Like, Google does delete fake reviews, and it was just clear as day that they had bought the reviews and stuff. So yeah, definitely avoid buying fake reviews, because it's just not a future-proof SEO strategy. And to be honest with you, I've never seen a upward trajectory of after buying fake reviews. The reason why we always recommend, like, going back to your pre-existing client base, sending out an email blast, is the real reviews do actually push the needle. The fake reviews, they've potentially just purchased that Gmail account they're leaving the reviews on like a couple days ago, so there's not that much history, so it doesn't actually push that much power through to your website or through to your GMB.
For most of them as well, I assume like there'd be a big footprint, because like if these people are trying to scale up a service like that, then it's going to be like posted all over the internet, all these different dodgy reviews. Yeah,
it's like we ran a GMB audit on a site maybe a couple months ago, and it was like the business owner was like, yeah, we've done some dodgy things with the GMB. So I was like, all right, well, we can audit the GMB. And some of the reviews that, like, it had left a review for a firm in London, and then a HVAC company in New York, and then another company in San Francisco. It's like, does this guy just travel from every country leaving reviews? Like, so what's going on here? So yeah, like, and it's funny though, because sometimes, like, business owners, I'll speak to them and they're like, yeah, GMBs don't work, GMB reviews don't work. And it's like, well, if you've purchased reviews, yes, I agree with you, but if you're naturally getting reviews, and I'm probably sounding really white hat here, but if you're naturally acquiring reviews, they do actually help your GMB rank a lot higher. But it's one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I see that everywhere, right? It's like the more testimonials and case studies you have on your website, the better your website converts typically. Yeah,
exactly that. But yeah, that's been the video. Thanks for joining me, Julian.
Cheers, thank you.
And for anybody that wants a free 15-minute growth strategy call for their website, make sure to check the link down in the description. Thanks.